Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, July 22nd through Saturday, July 28th. And so much going on this week. I expect it to be a good week. I hope that I'm right. It looks my candle just finished. I won't change it. I won't stop the reading. I'll just keep going. Also, I'm not... my mind isn't there right now and I'm not connected, but something just entered here. Not negative, but some sort of spirit or presence just entered here. I smell like chips and dip. It's weird, like onion dip, like a party or something. I smell that. I don't have it and haven't had any. It's not me, and it's sudden. I just now smell it, but like I said, I'm not like in that mindset right now where I'm trying to connect. I'm doing the reading. I'm gonna continue. If maybe they'll say something or do something during the reading. I don't know. Okay, they're welcome, because like I said, I don't feel anything negative about it, but I just don't know who it is in this moment. All right, in any case, I'm going to get started with the 22nd, the first day of the reading. Sunday is the feast day of St. Mary Magdalene, okay, on the Christian calendar. So we'll read a little bit about her. There are some other saints' days in between that we won't go over. And then we'll skip to the 25th, which is Wednesday, and the feast day of St. James the Apostle. So we'll go over him. And then Thursday, another very special one. Thursday the 26th, the feast day of Saints Joaquin and Anne, or Anne and Joaquin, whichever order you want to put them in. And those, of course, are Mary's parents. Not Mary Magdalene, Mary, mother of Jesus' parents. So I'll just get into those, and then I'll move into the other stuff. Like I said, there's so much. So St. Mary Magdalene, I'm going to read a little bit from www.catholic.org about her, and I didn't pick this site for any particular reason. It just came up first. St. Mary Magdalene is one of the greatest saints of the Bible and a legendary example of God's mercy and grace. The precise dates of her birth and death are unknown, but we do know that she was present with Christ during his public ministry, his death, and his resurrection. She's mentioned at least a dozen times in the Gospels. Mary Magdalene has long been regarded as a prostitute or sexually immoral in Western Christianity. But this is not supported in the scriptures. It's believed that she was a Jewish woman who lived among Gentiles, living as they did. The Gospels agree that Mary was originally a great sinner. Jesus cast 7 demons out of her when he met her. After this, she told several women she associated with, and these women also became followers. There is also debate over if Mary Magdalene is the same unnamed woman, a sinner who weeps and washes Jesus' feet with her hair in the Gospel of John. Scholars are skeptical that this is the same person, despite the scholarly dispute over her background. What she did in her subsequent life after meeting Jesus is much more significant. She was certainly a sinner whom Jesus saved, giving us an example of how no person is beyond the saving grace of God. During Jesus' ministry, it's believed that Mary Magdalene followed him, part of a semi-permanent entourage who served Jesus and his disciples. Mary likely watched the crucifixion from a distance, along with the other women who followed Christ during his ministry. Mary was present when Christ rose from the dead, visiting his tomb to anoint his body, only to find the stone rolled away and Christ very much alive, sitting at the place they laid him. She was the first witness to his resurrection. After the death of Christ, a legend states that she remained among the early Christians. After 14 years, she allegedly was put into a boat by Jews, along with several other saints of the early church, and set adrift without sails or oars. The boat landed in southern France, where she spent the remaining years of her life in solitude in a cave. St. Mary Magdalene's feast day is July 22nd. She's the patroness of converts, repentant sinners, sexual temptation, pharmacists, tanners, and women, and many other places and causes as well. That was Mary Magdalene. St. James the Apostle from www.franciscanmedia.org. Again, not for any particular reason. I do want to mention they have a 44 on this page under the title. It's just in parentheses, it says 44. So I'm not sure what that means, but of course, double fours represent the archangels, or multiple fours represent the archangels. St. James the Apostle story. This James is the brother of John the Evangelist. The two were called by Jesus as they worked with their father in a fishing boat on the Sea of Galilee. Yeah, these are the sons of thunder, the two brothers. Jesus had already called another pair of brothers from a similar occupation, Peter and Andrew. Quote, he walked along a little farther and saw James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They too were in a boat mending their nets. Then he called to them. So they left their father Zebedee in the boat along with the hired men and followed him. End quote. Mark 1:19 through 20. James was one of the favorite three who had the privilege of witnessing the transfiguration, the raising to life of the daughter of Jairus, and the agony of Gethsemane. Two incidents in the Gospels describe the temperament of this man and his brother. St. Matthew tells that their mother came. Mark says it was the brothers themselves to ask that they have the seats in honor in the kingdom. Quote, Jesus said in reply, you do not know what you're asking. Can you drink the cup that I'm going to drink? Basically, like, are you about it to live the same kind of fate that I'm about to live? You know, are you willing to die and all that kind of stuff? Then they said to him, we can. This is in Mark 20:22. So there's another 2:22 also, by the way. Jesus then told them they would indeed drink the cup and share his baptism of pain and death, but that sitting at his right hand or left was not his to give. It is, quote, for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father, end quote. And this is found in Matthew 20:23. It remained to be seen how long it would take to realize the implications of their confident, quote, we can, end quote. The other disciples became indignant at the ambition of James and John. Then Jesus taught them all the lessons of humble service. The purpose of authority is to serve. They are not to impose their will on others or lord it over them. This is the position of Jesus himself. He was the servant of all. The service imposed on him was the supreme sacrifice of his own life. On another occasion, James and John gave evidence that the nickname Jesus gave them, the sons of thunder, was an apt one. The Samaritans would not welcome Jesus because he was on his way to hated Jerusalem. Quote, when the disciples James and John saw this, they asked, Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to consume them? End quote. And this is because Jesus had taught the other disciples. They were elect ones and illumined beings. And he had taught them to do many of the acts, miracles that he was able to perform. So they could have drawn down something upon these people too, brought down the wrath. They asked him if they should, though. Jesus turned and rebuked them. Luke 9:54 through 55. James was apparently the first of the apostles to be martyred. Quote, about that time, King Herod laid hands upon some members of the church to harm them. He had James, the brother of John, killed by the sword. And when he saw that this was pleasing to the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. End quote. Acts 12:1 through 3. This James, sometimes called James the Greater, is not to be confused with James the Lesser, or the author of the letter of James and the leader of the Jerusalem community. Reflection that they came to based on this. The way the Gospels treat the apostles is a good reminder of what holiness is all about. There is very little about their virtues as static possessions, entitling them to heavenly reward. Rather, the great emphasis is on the kingdom, on God's giving them the power to proclaim the good news. As far as their personal lives are concerned, there is much about Jesus' purifying them and narrowness, pettiness, and fickleness. St. James the Apostle is the patron saint of Chile, laborers, Nicaragua, rheumatism, and Spain. So now going to the Jewish calendar, and this is probably what a lot of you are waiting for, because I've talked about this, that it was coming. On the 27th, Friday the 27th, is the feast day of Tu B'Av. Okay, and it's the month of Av, and what Tu B'Av is, it literally translates to the 15th of Av, or the 15th of the month of Father. So a little bit about that from www.shabbat.org. The 15th of Av is undoubtedly a most mysterious day. A search of the Shulchan Aruch, or the Code of Jewish Law, reveals no observances or customs for this date, except for the instruction that Takanan, or confession of sins, and similar portions should be omitted from the daily prayers, as is the case with all festive dates, and that one should increase one's study of the Torah, since the nights are beginning to grow longer, and the, quote, the night was created for study, end quote. And the Talmud tells us that many years ago, the, quote, daughters of Jerusalem would dance in the vineyards, end quote, on the 15th of Av, and, quote, whoever did not have a wife would go there, end quote, to find himself a bride. And the Talmud considers this the greatest festival of the year, with Yom Kippur a close second. Indeed, the 15th of Av cannot be a mystery, as the full moon, or this is a quote too, as the, quote, full moon, end quote, of the tragic month of Av, it is the festival of the future redemption, and thus a day whose essence by definition is unknowable to our unredeemed selves. Yet also the unknowable is also ours to seek and explore. So I'm surprised I didn't go into further depth, and I'm sure that there's other things that I could go over with you guys. But basically, it is, think of like a holy Valentine's Day. I mean, they're saying that Yom Kippur is second to this holiday. So that gives you an idea of how serious it is. And they're calling it the 15th of Av, this little article that I just read, the 15th of Av, love and rebirth. So that's what it was supposed to describe, although I'm not really certain that it did. But this is going to be, the 15th of Av is basically soulmate day in Hebrew tradition, going way, 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 way back, all the way to the time of King Solomon. Maybe I'll do something on the day and read something different about it to give you guys more clarity. But I'm going to move on because I skipped over Saints Joaquin and Anne, and I did not mean to do that. So also from franciscanmedia.org, Saints Joaquin and Anne. Oh, but before I do that and before I forget, in that little story about the 15th of Av, they called the holiday the full moon. The full moon, the full blood moon, and full lunar eclipse in Aquarius is on the 27th, the same day that they're calling it the full moon. I think that has meaning. So we'll find out what exactly. Saints John and Joaquin. I'm sorry, Saints Joaquin and Anne's story. I don't know what I what I was reading. Anyway, in the scriptures, Matthew and Luke furnish a legal family history of Jesus, tracing ancestry to show that Jesus is the culmination of great promises. Not only is his mother's family neglected, we also know nothing factual about them that they existed. Actually, I have a book called The Lost Books of the Bible that has the books of Mary and talks a great deal about Saints Joaquin and Anne. But anyway, says even the names Joaquin and Anne come from a legendary source written more than a century after Jesus died. The heroism and holiness of these people, however, is inferred from the whole family atmosphere around Mary in the scriptures. Whether we rely on the legends about Mary's childhood or make guesses from the information in the Bible, we see in her a fulfillment of many generations of prayers and prayerful persons, herself steeped in the religious traditions of her people. the strong character of Mary in making decisions, her continuous practice of prayer, her devotion to the laws of her faith, her steadiness at moments of crisis, and her devotion to her relatives all indicate a close-knit, loving family that look forward to the next generation, even while retaining the best of the past. Joaquin and Anne, whether these are their real names or not, represent that entire quiet series of generations who faithfully perform their duties, practice their faith, and establish an atmosphere for the coming of the Messiah, but remain obscure. Reflection. This is the feast of grandparents. It reminds grandparents of their responsibility to establish a tone for generations to come. They must make the traditions alive and offer them as a promise to little children. But the feast has a message for the younger generation as well. It reminds the young that older people's greater perspective, depth of experience, and appreciation of life's profound rhythms are all part of a wisdom not to be taken lightly or ignored. Saints Joaquin and Anne are the patron saints of grandparents. Saint Anne is also the patron saint of mothers and women in labor. And now I'll go to what's going on in the sky. So we're going to begin with the 22nd. The 22nd is not only the feast day of Mary Magdalene, but also the day that the sun officially enters Leo at 5 p.m. On July 26th, we just read about Saints Joaquin and Anne will be celebrating a feast day. Well, also at 1:02 a.m., Mercury enters retrograde, 23 degrees Leo 27. So I'll read about that a little bit. Then on the 27th, which is the same day as the 15th of Av, our soulmate day, we can call it, Hebrew soulmate day, at 4:20 p.m., 4 plus 2, 6 equals love, the full moon total lunar eclipse, 4 degrees Aquarius 45. And that's it for the week. So let's find out a little bit more about this from www.findyourfate.com. Mercury retrograde. Mercury takes 88 days to do one complete revolution around the sun. Mercury moves into retrograde 3 times per year for anywhere between 19 to 24 days. When Mercury goes retrograde, mistakes, misunderstandings, problems in communication and transportation are likely. Do not sign contracts, nor buy new items, nor begin new projects. It is an excellent time to plan, however, research and prepare for something that will happen later. So you can get things together, like in order, to actually be processed when Mercury goes direct. And that will happen on August 19th at just 18 minutes into the day. So like 12:18, 11 degrees Leo. We have that to look forward to. Now let's check out this full blood moon from www.bustle.com. What does it mean when the full moon is in Aquarius? The July 2018 blood moon will have you feeling all the feels. Full moons always seem to be closely connected to our emotions. Under the glowing rock we call the moon, everything seems to be illuminated, including all our feels. Prepare your Stay Calm meditation playlist now, because the July's full moon will be in Aquarius on July 27th. What does it mean when the full moon is in Aquarius? The July 2018 blood moon will have us all feeling all the feels. It's forecasted to be an emotional one, friends. July's full moon isn't just an ordinary moon. It's also a lunar eclipse. In fact, the longest lunar eclipse of this century. That means the past 100 years, lasting 1 hour and 43 minutes, according to space.com. Astrologers are predicting that the eclipse will intensify the emotions brought on by the moon. Don't worry, though. The full moon in Aquarius suggests happy endings before rolling the credits. Aquarius is the humanitarian sign that's all about bringing everyone together, according to tarot.com. The community conscious Aquarius full moon reminds us that we are part of something larger than ourselves, and that acting on our ideas and ideals will benefit everyone. It's also noted that because Aquarius is known as being one of the most outgoing in the zodiac, energy is typically high. And in the case of an Aquarius full moon being coupled with a lunar eclipse, feelings can peak. Eclipses tend to intensify any current energies, Astrology King explains. With a total lunar eclipse in particular, the blotting out of the moon represents a resetting of your emotions, clearing away the emotional baggage of the previous 6 months. With emotional baggage, seems like a hurdle the size of Everest to overcome. Conquering it will eventually lead to your higher purpose. Fever Conscious cautions emotions are likely to be high, and there may be some big developments. Secrets may be revealed, or tensions that have been bubbling beneath the surface may overflow and need to be dealt with. No matter if the emotions are excruciating or just a little sharper than usual, there's nothing to dread about dealing with them. Fever Conscious reminds us that eclipses have long been revered as powerful omens, but they're really nothing to fear. Instead, we can look at them as powerful messengers from the universe and an opportunity to be shown the path forward. Think of it as a compass spinning out of control and then landing matter-of-factly in the right direction. An Aquarius moon might make the mood more spontaneous. However, paired with a lunar eclipse conjunct Mars, the urge for spontaneity can make feelings akin to fireballs. Astrology King advises that emotions can actually be more along the lines of impulsive, which essentially is a more fiery way of saying spontaneous. When feelings begin to bubble like lava in a reactivated volcano, try to relax. July's blood moon won't be as intense as the name makes it sound. We can all stay calm during this astrological spectacle. With 5 planets retrograde and a lunar eclipse that's also a full moon, by reminding ourselves to go with the flow, as Fever Conscious phrases it, listen and check in with your surroundings. What needs to be chucked out of your life, like that algebra textbook at the end of the 7th grade? Full moons are about completing a cycle. With the emotional closure we get with July's full blood moon in Aquarius, a clear path has the opportunity to be paved. July's full moon in Aquarius, also known as the blood moon, will intensify our emotional energy. It might feel like we're all living in the second act of Nicholas Sparks' novel turned major motion picture, but once we move past the emotional climax and remain calm instead of impulsive, we'll all get our satisfying ending. And that's that. So we can look forward to that. My moon is in Aquarius. I'm still having that experience where my natal chart is playing out. So the big new moon that sparked all of this was in my sun sign, Gemini, of course. But around that same time, Venus was in Gemini, where mine is. Mercury was in Gemini, where mine is. The North Node moved to where mine is, Leo. The South Node is in Aquarius, where mine is. Chiron is in Aries. Now it's in retrograde in Aries. My Chiron is in Aries. You know, it's just on and on and on. So this is no different. This full moon in Aquarius, my moon is Aquarius. So I'm still on that. And oh, Jupiter in Scorpio. My Jupiter's in Scorpio. I'm waiting to see how this culminates. In any case, it sounds like it's going to be a good week. So I'm beginning with the dice with yes. Eat cake. And sex. And it's gotten real smoky in here. I had just lit my sage right before I felt that presence enter. And so I don't know if I think this is part of that experience. Again, no worries. So now the dice say, Spirit says party. Try again. And I think this can have to do with relationships, not necessarily romantic. Could be friendships too, like or the things that you just feel like you didn't complete them, or you didn't succeed, or at least not in the way that you wanted to. Give it another go. Also, stay in bed. And I too will try again. And it says try again, yet again. So maybe we're supposed to make multiple attempts at something until it's positive. And the answer is yes. So going to the cards, I'm beginning with the 10 of fire. Too much work, accept help from others. Life's out of balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. The 10 of fire about carrying those 10 wands, like carrying all the burdens on your own. But the fact that it's a 10 means that the cycle of doing that and going through that is completing. Speaking of Aquarius, opening 2, major arcana card number 17 equals 8. The star, which represents the sign of Aquarius, and the planet Uranus, which rules it. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Star. And speaking of the number 8, or major arcana cards 8. 8's standing for karma, justice, abundance, build, destroy, and supreme math. The fact that we're supposed to remain on path, you know, we're doing the right thing. Yeah, that might be it. But it's a good number. And here's our 8/11. Speaking of eclipses, this is when the full solar eclipse will be on 8/11. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Justice, or major arcana card 8, justice, represents the sign of Libra and Venus, which rules it. Star. And speaking of air signs, it's the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. Knight of Air tends to indicate that someone needs to make a decision or is awaiting decision. That decision may be a legal one. You know, on the heels of major arcana card Justice. However, remember, this is all about good news and dreams coming true, prayers being answered, wishes being granted. So even if you do have some sort of legality going on right now, which I predicted many would, particularly among the masculine, everything's going to be, again, it's going to come out as best as it possibly can for you. I've said that all month. I've seen that all month. I've tried to show that to you guys all month. So if you're awaiting a decision, a legal decision, criminal, family, civil, whatever, you know, again, the best possible outcome for you, your, you know, dreams coming true, or wishes being granted, prayers being answered in that regard, you know, to get some assistance from the universe. In other cases, we might have a decision that we need to make. The star also connected to communication. So you may be moved to make some sort of communication, or you may be in receipt of a communication and, you know, guided to be receptive to it. It may be to heal some sort of situation. The 3 of Air, great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. Something like that could come up. Truth could come out with all of this air sign energy. You know, think Ace of Swords, or Ace of Air, however you want to call it. Or Queen of Air, like cutting through the bullshit and getting to the truth of the matter, and then making adjustments to her friends list and all that kind of stuff accordingly. That could happen. Star. And we're still on that track with the air. It is the Dreamer, which in this deck in particular represents for me the planet Mercury, which again enters retrograde this week and rules Gemini and Virgo. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. The Dreamer is the Fool in the traditional tarot. And lastly, opening to the Page of Fire, who's outgoing, creative, confident, mischievous, news of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. The Page of Fire is a Sagittarius, Aries, maybe a Scorpio, or a Leo. Again, Sun enters Leo. Maybe a youthful Leo or a younger Leo in particular may be impactful upon you this week. And it's the Five of Fire. Competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. So absolutely, fives can be about conflict and drama. And for me, the Five of Fire, more so than the other fives, particularly the Five of Swords, which tends to also be about conflict. The Five of Fire, if it is about conflict, it's like internal conflict, conflict with yourself, or close friends and or family is what it tends to be. But this card also, you know, tends to represent the planet Mars for me, like the aggressiveness and the action. It's like against all odds, or whatever you have to do by any means necessary, that sort of thing. I'm going to fight, I'm going to whatever, claw my way to what I'm trying to achieve is also what I get out of this card when I pick it up. And speaking of Leo and the sun entering Leo, our overall energy this week is Major Arcana card Strength, which represents the sign of Leo, not just the sun entering Leo. Again, Mercury retrograde in Leo. And when Mercury approached retrograde, when it was in shadow, so now, since it hasn't actually gone officially retrograde yet, that doesn't happen until the 26th, it's 11 degrees Leo at present. When it goes direct again on August 19th, it will again be 11 degrees Leo. So that may have some significance too. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. That is the overall energy. Crowning the masculine this week, it is the Empress. Major Arcana card, the Empress. We're again representing the planet Venus, the goddess Venus, and the signs which she rules. Libra, Taurus, Gemini. Lavish abundance. Give birth to your dreams. Nurture yourself and others. This can also have something to do with some sort of party of three. The Empress can be about confidence too, and popularity and beauty, and being attractive and feeling attractive, and, you know, just having like a glow about you. This can have something to do with one's mother, or, you know, a mother figure in one's life, maybe the mother of your children or something like that. It can also be about nurturing, the need to nurture yourself and others around you. And, you know, on really positive notes, it's about abundance, as are threes in general. And it's about new beginnings, fertile energy, new ideas, all that stuff. Wow. More Venus. It's the Lovers with Archangel Raphael, which represents the sign of Gemini, ruled by both Venus and Mercury. Intimate relationships. Carefully weigh your decisions. Good health. Masculine is Major Arcana card Trump tight this week. In his subconscious, the Moon with Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights. Events behind the scenes. Release fears that hold you back. The Moon in the tarot represents the sign of Pisces. And the Moon in the sky rules the sign of Cancer. But this can also be representative of the sign of Scorpio too, any of the water signs, because it's about the need to pay close attention to your intuition, and the fact that intuition will be heightened. It'll be stronger than usual. Psychic awareness is also about secrets and things done in the dark that need to come to light. And that even when we don't know what those things are, or when there may be secrets or stuff that we don't know, if we receive guidance, particularly through that intuition that we're supposed to be paying attention to and listening to do something, we're expected to, on faith, go ahead and move forward. Similar to the dreamer, the fool that we saw as I was shuffling. On another note, Major Arcana card number 18 equals 9, and so does 6 plus 3. So we have like 9, 9 here. Crowning the feminine, the King of Fire is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision. Be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is also a Leo, or maybe in a Sagittarius, an Aries, possibly even a Scorpio. And speaking of both Leo and Scorpio, as well as Aquarius too, they're all represented by the wheel or connected to the energy of the planet Jupiter as fixed signs. In addition to that, add Taurus too. So the fixed signs, all 4 of them again will be Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus. But this does represent the planet Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius also. So, all of those signs connected to the energy of the wheel. A time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward and fortune is on your side. So a boost from somewhere, or not somewhere, from the planet Jupiter, the planet of karma. Most people say luck, Also the planet of expansion, growth, globalization, like big dreams, big things. Currently located in Scorpio. At the root, or the feminine subconscious. Very nice. The 2 of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts. Continue to move forward. 2 of Fire, of course, the Divine Union card of the Tarot. 2 is also connected to partnership as well as faith. The need to have faith. I hope I didn't talk this one up. It seems like I may have. The 5 of Air, an unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. The 5 of Air for me is not only about conflict, but conflict in which we ourselves had a hand. Now, I'm not saying it was malicious, like we did something, mean on purpose or whatever. I mean, we may have. But that's not what I'm saying. It could be inadvertent. It could be accidental. And usually when it is, it has to do with us having been like presumptuous or something. So, we say or do something, maybe petty, but not expecting the outcome that this brings. We say, and whatever we do, that whatever our action is, it sparks something that leads to, further drama down the line. It's like a trickle down sort of thing, and just grows, So it's avoidable. It also has to do with people surrounding us that don't necessarily mean us well too. It could, it can be malicious, and people that don't even realize they're being malicious sometimes. They're just jealous or whatever. So they, people that try to cause you to break up with your partner, or, like, girl, you don't need him. He's this and that. And that those like things may be true, but like really having a hard on for your partner because, she's jealous. She don't got a man. You know what I'm talking about. Those kind of situations. That's 5 of Air also. So it leads you to possibly make an unwise choice and do something irrational that doesn't, align with you or your life purpose, because you allowed drama to slip in. At the root, the Page of Earth, who's scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging and maybe a new area of study. The Page of Earth is a Virgo, where Venus is currently located. Can also be a Capricorn or a Taurus, connected to the energy of the wheel. And if it is, well, whether it's an earth sign or not, it also may be connected to the energy of a younger person or more youthful person. Court cards, often actual people who are impactful upon our lives. At the heart of the matter, the Knight of Fire, who's passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire is easily connected to the energy of the wheel. Quite possibly a Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, or again, a Leo also associated with the energy of the wheel as a fixed sign. Can be an Aries too. Or again, even a Scorpio. Again, it's so attached to the energy of the wheel. And what happens suddenly is, well, the page of earth brings news of like abundance coming, most often of the earthly, like money or material things, or an opportunity like at work or something, career or school. So that may very well be what comes suddenly and unexpectedly. You know, you needed this money or this situation, this opportunity, but you didn't realize it was coming. All of a sudden, the energy of Jupiter, because it said a sudden change, sudden is going to move you forward. You know, these two would be sort of like the same energy, and they could usher in this good news for you about financial matters and or relationship. The Two of Fire indicates that, you know, a relationship is involved. This is the general reading, so not necessarily romantic, but quite possibly romantic. The Two of Fire is the divine union card of the tarot. So suddenly something could happen suddenly in a divine union to propel it forward. Something could happen in a business partnership or a friendship, a family relationship that is lucrative for the two parties involved. A decision may have to be made. And it's a heart versus head decision. You know, your heart is telling you one thing to do. Your head is telling you something else to do. Make sure you also include your intuition in there. So you have three like pools of three wealths of information from which to draw. Not just your logic, like an air sign, like a Gemini. You know, but not just your heart either. You're getting gut feelings. You're getting syncs. You're getting signs. Pay attention to all that kind of stuff too. And again, the Empress can be giving you an indication that it involves some sort of new opportunity for you. I'm going to further clarify these and get some more definitive answers, even for the large group for whom I'm reading, by bringing in another tarot deck. So the reason I like to use two tarot decks is often the energy likes to repeat itself, you know, so it can with an additional deck. I'm beginning with the 10 of Winter this time. The end of a career path, a project, or a relationship brings feelings mixed of joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. Open to the 4 of Summer. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. Ten of Winter. The King of Summer, who's warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. King of Summer is a Scorpio, maybe, a Pisces, like the moon, or a Cancer, where the sun is currently located until the 22nd, until Sunday. And opening to the 9 of Spring, you've worked hard, and what you've created is impressive and worthy of protecting. Annoying challenges may pop up, but don't worry. You'll get through them just as you have in the past. I do want to say with the Empress, the Lovers, and the 2 of Fire, and the Wheel, this can definitely be connected to the energy of the 15th of Av and the soulmate day and new beginnings in these relationships, something propelling it forward. All of a sudden, the positive energy propelling something forward where it was stuck, if we are able to avoid this conflict and drama that someone may try to throw in the mix. Then 10 of Winter. And speaking of romantic partnerships and soulmates coming together, the 2 of Summer. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can also still be saved. Don't give up. Remember the dice, try again, try again, try again. I felt, you know, then that it was connected to something like this. And opposite the Ten of Winter, so there may have been betrayal. Ten of Winter or Air or Swords can be about betrayal, hurt, toxicity, codependent relationships, addictions. Despite that, we can try again and still save, you know, some of these relationships that are in trouble. And we can see that sort of illustrated here in the first spread, right? This is the trouble, the Five of Air. Look what's surrounding it. Why would this win out? With the Empress, the Lovers, the Moon, so major arcana, the King of Fire, the Wheel, the Two of Fire, the Page of Earth, and the Knight of Fire all surrounding it. Why would the Five of Air win out? It wouldn't, unless we allow it. So don't. Ten of Winter. And the Two of Autumn. You may be under stress because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. It's important to balance your work and personal life and to bring a spirit of fun to all you do. Well, Two of Autumn it's not one of my favorite cards, to be honest. People like twos because they're about partnership and duality and faith, all those kind of things. And I can dig it. I can dig it. But I don't really like this one because for me, the strongest thing that I feel and always have felt from the Two of Autumn, more so than the need to balance work and play or our lives in general, or our energy in general, what I've always felt most is deja vu from hell. And what I tend to describe as that line from the Rihanna song, Take a Bow. This looks like a ream bullshit over and over again. Like, why are we at this juncture again? Is what I tend to get from the Two of Autumn. Like, we got to try something different. So that can be what the conflict is about too. Or what this is about. You know, this struggle. Like, how do we get beyond that? Something just jumped away. It is Major Arcana card number 1, the Magician. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. The Magician also represents for me the sign of Gemini. Because as a mutable sign, yes, we have all of the, you know, the different elements at our fingertips, you know, to help us to manifest whatever we want. The other mutable signs do as well, of course, but Gemini is to the second power. We are the twin, the only one that is the twin. So that's why it represents Gemini for me, but I do attribute it also to the other mutable signs: Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. But of course, anybody can use the energy of the Magician, particularly when it shows up for you in the spread, like it did for us just now. Also, I want you to notice the infinity symbol, or another number 8 that's here. I'm just going to stick it back in the deck arbitrarily from where it came. And open to the Queen of Spring, who's talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. We just talked about manifestation with the Magician. How awesome is that? You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once. So this is like the Two of Earth, right? And the need to like balance work and play and all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of things that we need to do, and we need to find time for all. The Queen of Spring shows up to say that we can do it. She, like the Knight and the King that are already here, is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or possibly a Scorpio. And she and the King are each half of this Two of Fire, which is pretty cool that the feminine is crowned by, you know, one half and then rooted in the, you know, the Two of Fire. I said I wasn't going to do any more. I wasn't going to check out any more cards. All right, this will be the last one. The Four of Winter. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers you seek. And again, with the lovers here, the masculine could, I mean, this can be about love coming your way too, but the masculine may have a decision to make with the lovers sitting here. And where he does, it will be a, you know, heart versus head decision. Two of bottom. I'm going to cut. Aww. It's the lovers again. Again, representing the sign of Gemini. True and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. So when the lover shows up, basically, it's saying, don't be so Gemini-ish. Don't be so air sign-ish. Let your heart win out this fight between your head and itself. But again, we're also going to want to take into consideration our intuition. The abundance continues. The overall energy is the king of autumn. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded is the king of autumn. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. When the king of autumn shows up, I mean, he can actually be an actual person that's impactful upon your life this week. Maybe facilitates some of the abundance that comes your way. Maybe he's a creditor or something like that. But when he shows up, it is a good time to apply for credit or to attempt to, you know, become more lucrative somehow by buying an asset or selling an asset. Taking a job. You may get calls for jobs you didn't even apply for. You know, somebody might say, hey, you know, I heard you'd be great for this position that I have open or whatever. And it's a good idea for you to, you know, accept and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's good news that comes in. Atop the Empress, the 10 of spring with which we began before, right? I talked about laying down one's burdens. You're working far too hard and the stress will soon become too much. Reach out for help from others and take some time to play and to enjoy life. So this can have to do with, again, you sharing the load, maybe with your child's mother, or the fact that you need to nurture yourself and take care of yourself before you run your pressure up, but you're trying to do too much. The Empress can have to do with, again, with abundance. So you may be literally working too hard or too many hours, and maybe you need to think that through. That may be what the decision is about. You know, you're doing something that you love doing, or you're doing something with a purpose. You're working a certain number of hours in order to accomplish something. So your heart's in it, but at the same time, it's not what's best for you. So you got to use your logical mind too. And then you got to use your intuition to find out, well, you know, to think, well, what's my soul telling me? What's my gut telling me? What's the divine trying to tell me here? Atop the Lovers. Ooh, it's the opposite of the Lovers in the tarot. Both equal 6. Well, the Lovers is Major Arcana card 6. And Ego, or the Devil, is Major Arcana card 15, equals 6. You may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus upon material wealth and break free of negative thinking. So this can have two possible really impactful meanings. You know, one positive and one negative. And the negative, you could be in some sort of relationship that is unhealthy and toxic, and you need to break free from it. And that's what this is showing up for. And maybe it's difficult. Maybe that's why this was opposite the 10 of air before. I think it was when I was shuffling. And I said there maybe have been betrayal or something like that. whether it was opposite or not. It's the 10 of the 10 showed up, of air of swords. And I said there may have been betrayal between, you know, some partners or something. And we got to make a decision. We know that this isn't good for us. This relationship or this situation, this circumstance in which we're involved, we know it's not good for us. It's not healthy. For others, on I guess a happier note, I started with the dice with sex. And this can definitely be about some serious, you know, physical attraction and actual sex that happens. And it's really like raw sort of passion. You know, like really hyper attractive to each other. For many, with the first explanation that I gave about the need to break away from something and separate, you know, that's toxic for you, that's why you're stressed out here. It's this situation that's not good for you, and it's not necessarily a relationship, although it's strong possibility, but it's not necessarily a relationship. It could be anything in which you're involved and you're sort of tied to, and again, it's like you got to fight your head. Your head and heart have to fight. It's just it's potentially going to make you unwell. And again, it may be something involving your own mother or the mother of your child or something like that. That can be very easily what the Empress represents. And the need for you to break away from this person, it is toxic. It's just toxic. At the root, atop the moon, where stuff may be going on behind our backs or behind the scenes or whatnot, the Two of Spring. Now we got the Two of Spring mirroring the Two of Spring. Your vision, rather, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people who are helping you. Again, the Two of Spring is the divine union card of the tarot, and twos in general represent duality, relationships, partnership, and faith. Atop the King of Fire, the Eight of Summer, you feel there's more to life than what you're living. So it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're headed and being drawn to what will make you happy. Either way, you're in control. And as the King of Fire, if this is the feminine's energy herself, you know, she's a leader. So she can just, you know which way to go. Again, you know what to do. You're in control. And you go ahead and take the lead. And take your own life by the reins. And move on. Or move in general. Some people may be actually physically moving from one place to another too. And maybe it came up suddenly. Maybe we've been wanting to sell a house, buy a house. I mentioned that before, right? With asset. And it just hadn't been working before. But now the energy of the wheel comes in and this sudden movement in our situations. Could be a relationship too. Suddenly we're able to move away from a toxic one or move toward one that, you know, to which we're drawn. It'll be different for everybody. General reading for the collective. Atop the wheel is the Princess of Summer. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. Princess of Summer is the Page of Cups. Represents the sign of Pisces, like the moon. It can be a Cancer or a Scorpio too. And if so, maybe a younger one or a more youthful one. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. And atop the wheel specifically, then it may be a younger Scorpio or a youthful Scorpio, which is kind of funny, like a oxymoron, because Scorpios are pretty like mature. And you know, my daughter is 16, she's a Scorpio, and Sometimes she's like the mom. More often, I'm going to be honest with you. She's like the mom. Because I'm a Gemini, and like we're like the complete opposite. We're forever, silly and young. So anyway, because the wheel is connected to the fixed signs, again, of which Scorpio is, as it relates to the water element, this can be connected to a younger Scorpio. Also, again, Jupiter located in Scorpio presently. So something may move forward with them, whoever the younger Scorpio is. You may initiate, because pages bring news. So you may initiate news of love and emotion to them, a message of love and emotion, or you may be the recipient. They may, send it to you, and it may be unexpectedly when it comes with the energy of the wheel. It's sudden, you weren't necessarily looking to hear from these people or to be moved to contact them, but all of a sudden, here you are. Feminine subconscious, atop the 2 of fire. The 6 of summer, the soulmate card of the tarot. The love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams can be revived. So definitely can have to do with children, as can the page of water too, can often be about children. Some of us may have a situation going on with children that maybe was stuck, and all of a sudden that moves in a positive direction too. This is, again, the general reading. But there's a couple here, and it looks like one is giving the other a flower. They're young, so it's like young love. Can you see the 2 baby swanlings, goslings, right? They call them goslings, gooselings, whatever. You see them. They're, it looks like, one has given the other a flower. Anyway, again, it is soulmate day this week on the 27th, and the 6 of summer represents soulmate relationships in the tarot, and as well as, children and memories and nostalgia. So it can be something going on with a partnership, a friendship, a business relationship, a family relationship, whatever it is. It's something about which we care, or someone about which we care, and it may be time to try again as it relates to our relationship. Maybe things were stuck before, or nothing was happening at all, and now we want to move with the energy of the 8 of Cups, forward or back, or whatever is applicable to you. 6 of summer, of course, not only about our past, but also potentially about past lives. And again, that connects to soulmates too. Crowning atop the 5 of air, the Queen of Summer, who's compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. This is a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful that you don't ignore the needs of yourself while caring for the needs of others. So it's sitting next to the Empress and the 10 of Spring, which say that exact thing too. Like you might be doing too much, the most, and the whole of everything for other people and not nurturing you. So you want to make sure you do that, particularly masculine. These are your cards here. But in general, in between here for the 2 of us, this one's a swan. I said swanling before. I don't even think that's a word. This drama could be trying to get away in the way of a relationship. Like the example that I gave may not have been so far-fetched. Somebody trying to throw a monkey wrench, either, not necessarily maliciously again, but a monkey wrench into some sort of relationship. And maybe with a Scorpio. Again, the queens in the tarot tend to also represent the fixed signs. And again, of the element of water, Scorpio is it. It is the fixed sign. So this can be a Scorpio. It's crossing the Jupiter, where I just talked about the Princess of Summer possibly being a Scorpio. So here we go. But of course, it can be a Cancer or Pisces or any sign. It doesn't have to be a direct water sign at all. Somebody maybe just, taking on this sort of energy this week. At the root, atop the page of earth, it's the 10 of summer. It's time to express your love and appreciation for family, be it relatives or a chosen family of close friends. Congratulations may be in order on a happy, fulfilling marriage as well. And also with raising happy children that are balanced. So the 10 of summer, the princess of summer, the 6 of summer can also have to do with children. And so there may be, again, a situation that was stuck with somebody's child, but all of a sudden it is moving, and it's moving in a really, really positive direction. All will be well in that area. You'll receive news or be able to give news with regard to the situation that, will bring joy to people. 10 of summer also about us being surrounded by people that we love, even if it's just like one other person, like a 2. Okay. It's just being happy with whom we're spending our time, and just being at peace and joyous and, maybe even in love. At the heart of the matter, atop the night of fire, it's the star again, which again represents the sign of Aquarius. And now we have it crossing the moon. Maybe it's representing the Aquarius moon here. And that's going to be the sudden thing that ushers in, this energy for us too. You are about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism, fear with hope, and joy is coming home to roost. Again, the star, major arcana card number 17 equals 8, and is about our karma making a turnaround. To add to the advice this week, I wanted to go to my lesson cards and see what lesson the masculine might need to learn this week and what lesson we as the feminine might need to learn this week too. Beginning with trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So that takes us back to this, what I was talking about here, and deciding to let go of this toxic situation. And also here with the moon, deciding to move forward, even if we don't know everything. Having some trust and trusting our own intuition and gut feelings. And opening to honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. It's about maintaining your integrity. And here's the others, where the others might be lying or causing foolishness in your life. That's going to happen. They don't owe you the kind of allegiance you owe yourself. Trust. Peace. I'm a being of love, and I release all negative energy. Bye, Felicia. Peace. One more. Loneliness. I know that I'm never alone. Peace. Courage, like Leo the lion. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. And the overall energy is doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. So what lesson does the masculine need to learn this week? What lesson does the feminine need to learn this week? And lastly, what do we need to surrender? Surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in, rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. I think this is for you, masculine, more so than the feminine here. Opening to surrender worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body, focus on the power of your heart, and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. We got these twos here with the faith. These twos of spring mirroring one another. This 11-11 here. Surrender worry. And surrender to rest and sleep to prevent burnout. Slow down. Honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Surrender worry. And we got two here. Surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Also, surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. Surrender worry. Also, surrender procrastination. Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. And our overall energy, very appropriately, particularly for the masculine, surrender your addictions. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and to replace it with healthier alternatives. Like this. For some, this may be having, again, connected to work and the need to leave some sort of partnership. Maybe you're in business with a friend or something, and so that's why it's tugging at your heartstrings, but you gotta, get out of that. Or you were considering work or business with a friend, it's not working out or gonna work out, and forget it. Do something else. Make some sort of other long-term plans or work on the relationship. But the way it exists now is toxic. What does the masculine need to surrender this week? What does the feminine need to surrender this week? All right, let's see. So masculine, surrender your fear of change. And that's what I feel that this is tied to. Like this is wanting to stay in a situation that's toxic because you're afraid, right? The moon, representative of fear, that you need to let go of and instead pay attention to your gut. You're afraid to move forward and, away from this. This is what you're used to. This is comfortable. Otherwise, aside from the fact that it's making you sick, it's otherwise comfortable because you're used to it. But no, you need change. 5 represent change too. Remember the 5 of air is under here. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of change in your job. I just talked about job. Your health. Or a relationship. Or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation. I have faith that all is well. Feminine, what do we need to surrender this week? Surrender fear. Let go of the fearful stories that you're telling yourself and stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. And this fear, or these advice cards in general, could really illustrate what some of us have been going through. All right, let me explain, because I see stuff while I'm doing other things. This here, this Princess of Summer, 6 of Summer, 10 of Summer, with the King of Fire here, could easily be a lot of the divine masculine are waiting for answers with regard to their children. Are the children mine? Are we going to get custody? Are we, what's going on with the child support? All kinds of stuff. This could be the divine masculine getting the information and sharing it with the feminine, right? The pages bring news, and this is good news. That's going to make her happy. That may be related to a child, and you know, like hitting the jackpot. That allows them to go back to the business of their partnership. That allows them to have a happy family here. The unknown comes out, allows for him to, yes, work on his partnership instead. Here could easily be specifically a Scorpio. I mean, of course, it could be anybody, but it could very easily specifically be a Scorpio. Scorpio currently, or Pluto, which rules Scorpio, in addition to Mars. Pluto, Scorpio's other ruler, currently retrograde in Capricorn, which the devil in the tarot represents the sign of Capricorn. And that could be restricting him from a relationship. Right? It could have caused some sort of blocks and stuff to a relationship, maybe specifically with a Gemini. But now he's guided to break away from that. Here's the fear. And the change would be no longer dealing with this relationship here with perhaps the mother of his child or the would-be mother of his child. Especially if it's one of these scenarios where it turns out the child is not his or something. Because I've seen a lot of that. You guys know. Into that relationship. That's the change. Right? The whole toxic relationship itself is the addiction. And in the meantime, you know, the feminine and the masculine, both are just plain old afraid. But good news coming your way. The star, prayers being answered, wishes being granted. And so all that praying that you've done to, you know, have this situation turn out right, it will, with release of any negativity, like the 5 of air, that you may be holding on to and manifesting yourself. And again, the 5 of air, among all these other really awesome cards, is easily defeated. Period. So that's what the masculine needed to surrender. What lesson does he need to learn this week? Friendship. Just like a lot of stuff has to be just like the basic minimum, like keeping it real. Maybe not being so secretive, or dare I even say a liar in a lot of cases. Lies by omission, and you know, at least being more honest. Not allowing yourself to be, you know, restricted by falsehoods because you're, again, afraid. That just causes stress. You're afraid of what she's going to do, or you're afraid of, you know, what she's going to do. Again, this Empress, like we saw a couple of weeks ago, may easily be a Taurus. Could be a Libra or a Gemini too, just or air sign in general, especially crossing the star. May be involved with a Leo or other fire sign. Especially since this star also sits atop the Knight of Fire. And the star is Major Arcana card 17, which equals 8, which is like our karma and karmic situations being worked out. And again, we have an 8-11 here. No, I'm sorry, 8-11 here. Oh, we have one here too. Yes, underneath the 6 of fire. And then as it relates to love, connected to love. And actually in both cases, because this one sits next to the lovers, which is a 6-2. So friendship. I understand that a friend in my life is there for a reason. It may be like even understanding how important friends are and friendships are, separate and apart from the romance. But this could be about a friendship too. These relations, some of these situations could be about a friendship. These partnerships could represent regular friendship. This 10 of summer could represent regular friendship. Right? It's time to express your love and appreciation for family, be it relatives or a chosen family of close friends. And speaking of love, sitting here atop the page of Earth, it could be Venus, the goddess of love, who's moving you to do this, who's currently located in Virgo. What lesson does the feminine need to learn this week? Service. I feel good when I can help others. So if we get that kind of opportunity, that could be represented by this too, on a separate situation. We may help to bring someone news that, you know, feels like the jackpot to them, makes them happy, makes them more abundant. You may be able to give to charity or something. And, you know, that is certainly service that would be the bearer of good news to someone in need. What advice do the angels have for the masculine this week? 3 of air. There's some, you know, for the majority, obviously, there's some sort of break away from a toxic relationship. Or there needs to be. And so that can bring those mixed feelings that we talked about before. Like, you know, you're happy that it's over, so there's all this blue. But at the same time, there's sadness because of what's connected to. And, you know, you've been in this situation a long time. You're used to it again, all that stuff. And you're afraid of change. And in the meantime, you hurt people. You hurt people. And maybe people hurt you. So it's time for everybody to heal from that. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. There's the nurturing again. You're stressed out. You need to release that tension. That's by seeking forgiveness or giving forgiveness or both. That can show yourself, you know, some care, self-love toward healing. What do the angels have to say to the feminine this week? The star again. It's here at the heart of the matter, and the feminine gets an extra dose. Prayers answered, wishes granted, dreams come true. The star represents the planet Uranus and the sign of Aquarius, which rules it. It can be connected to the energy of other air signs too. Happy times make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. But rather than have, you know, be connected to other air signs, or any of that, or even to Aquarius, in general, as a person, I think that this is here, or we're getting so much of this because of the Aquarius full moon. You know, this is like what we can expect the moon to bring. But we'll learn more if that's the case with our moon reading. I guess toward the end of the week I'll do that. But I just want to remind everybody that our overall energy was strength. So here's like more 811s too. We're keeping with that theme as well. Lastly, from the animals, what do they have to say to the masculine? It's another wheel. So we got one here, and now they have one in their advice. Expect a sudden positive change in your life. So there's no need to be afraid of the change. It's super positive. It's what you need. This other one is toxic. This other one is hurtful. This other one is making you sick, is like draining you. This other one is causing you pain, and others too. This change is a jackpot. Expect that sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress. You can leave this past, this situation behind. Whether it was, you know, a bad friendship, a bad business situation, a bad living situation, a bad marriage, you know, or being caught up with a quote unquote karmic and somehow baby mama drama, whatever it is, done, over. If you don't let your free will prevent you from letting it be over. And, you know, much better stuff ahead for you. Again, the wheel is connected to the planet Jupiter. and the sign of Sagittarius, which it rules, but also Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus, which is under here, that with the Empress as the fixed signs of the zodiac. And lastly for us, the Three of Summer. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. Yeah, somebody could be having a birth announcement too on the side of the feminine. This could be giving birth this week as well, but I don't feel that as strongly, or even see that as strongly. But that is, of course, it's possible somebody among us who's watching this may be giving birth, or maybe connected to somebody in a very close way who will be giving birth this week. The Three of Summer may involve some sort of party of three situation. It's also about reunions, not necessarily of the romantic kind, but reunions, maybe with friends, or with a romantic partner too, romantic interests, or meeting someone. Could definitely be connected to our soulmate day this week. These three little birds is also, there's a Bob Marley song, Don't Worry About a Thing. Every little thing is going to be all right. Woke up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. Three little birds were on my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. You know, so this is about releasing this fear too, that there's no cause for it. It's another reason why the Three of Summer shows up, and it shows up to say, not only is there no cause for worry, but there's no cause for worry as it relates to that party of three situation you've been going through. All right, everything's going to be all right. I guess that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly general reading. I thank you for watching, liking if you actually liked the video. I thank you for liking the video. I've had 5,000 subscribers forever. You know, actually I was talking to one of you guys in the comments about this last week, because she asked me about the pick a card. Like why I was doing it. And I said, just people, you know, been asking for it, and it's a different kind of reading. I try to provide as much as I can. So I provide the weeklies for those who want, and I'm sure you guys are watching me, because you can tell these are pure messages from spirit. That's why the cards are repeated and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's the genuine energy that shows up live in front of you. I'm shuffle in front of you. I do everything in front of you. You know, so those who are looking for that, something that they can trust on a consistent basis, you know, for guidance, that's why the weeklies are here. Those who are in a different place on their journey, and where they really need to understand themselves as divine beings, you know, we learn that sort of thing through history and through others who've, you know, walked path before us. So those are the people who subscribe to my Patreon. And they get the dailies where I go over what went on in a given day, and we get to learn the numerical patterns, and you know how different types of things tend to happen on a particular day of the month, year after year after year. You know, so we get to see stuff like that. You know, then there was pick a card, and pick a card answers specific questions, you know, in a quick and easy way. And so I don't mind doing that too. But we got into this conversation, and she, you know, revealed that she had started watching me when I went through that foolishness last year with the smear campaign against me, because I am the real thing, you know, not to be, you know, conceited or whatever, just hashtag facts. There were people trying to get me shut down. Now, obviously, that's not going to work, because, again, I am the real thing. So I was put here for a reason. The divine put me here for a reason to provide this service. Is not going to allow anybody to stop me from doing it. At the same time, in all honesty, I don't believe in coincidences, because it would have to otherwise be a coincidence that, you know, my fast growth was definitely slowed. So I have hovered around this 5,000, you know, for the year since, whereas I shot to it. That first year I shot to it. So I've pretty much hovered there ever since. And YouTube now wanting me to grow to 10,000, and my difficulty, the tough spot I'm in, is, you guys know I don't like to, I share my videos among, you know, the like-minded kind of people that, you know, I know, and I count on you guys to do the same, you know, to share with the like-minded people. I don't promote them out there for just any and everybody, because I don't want any and everybody. I don't want, you know, I don't want to welcome and invite unnecessarily, you know, like low vibes and stuff, just for the sake of having a lot of people on my channel, a lot of subscribers, and, or likes. For me, it's definitely quality and, you know, caliber over quantity. That's just not the way that YouTube works. So they keep, you know, trying to get me to do a little something. So that's why I've been asking you guys to like, share, and subscribe, because again, then I'm counting on you to share it among people that you already agree are like-minded to you. And, you know, you're already like-minded to me, or vice versa. So I welcome those people as well, you know, that you guys vouch for. So that's why I've been asking you to do it. And I appreciate it if you please do. Listen to that. If you like to get a reading or other service from me, I think we're being reminded all the time. I don't talk about it as much because I just don't. I mean, it's just not me to be promoting and whatever. I'm not like a circus act. Like, again, this is the real thing. So I get to my business and do it, but sometimes I forget like particulars and administrative stuff. But I think we've been seeing, again, all these 811s. Not a mistake. I don't believe in coincidences. These are all attached to the energy of my vision, which I shared with you extensively what the vision was, and we just keep seeing week after week evidence of it being true and correct. And so I really implore you to seek personal guidance while, you know, before the period, and even before the Lion's Gate, which is the same week, you know, beginning 8/8 this year. The Lion's Gate will be the date, I guess, essentially 8811 or 99, depending on how you look at it. So that has meaning and connotation too. And then I've been seeing stuff going into September as well. I don't know, you know, also with the 11th. So we had 7/11, we had all this power, all this, you know, energy leading us into 7/12 and 7/13 with the moon. 8/11, we're going to have it again with the full solar eclipse. And then even 9/11, there's more coming. And 9/11 is the Islamic New Year too. In addition to all the other implications that 9/11 holds. So we're just on this like high speed course now, and it's like catch up or get left behind. And I just don't want to see you guys get left behind. So I again implore you, encourage you to get readings, to get energy healing, whether it's from me or not. I would like it to be from me, because again, I know that that's authentic, and there are people who would support, you know, me in saying that that's authentic. People for whom I've read. It's funny that's who seeks my help the most. That's who gets the most consistent healing. Like I'm getting more healing. I want to people who've had it, who know it worked for them, who know that their union came together more closely, or they had progress in their own lives. Their gifts began to, come through stronger. They started having lucid dreams and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't want to keep on going on, but I encourage you again to seek these things. And if you'd like to seek them from me, I encourage you to do that, and I welcome it, and I thank you for it. Queenofswords, Thelightworker.com. I'll be back with love. Namaste, angels.
I'ma make it go.